Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Renew Your Finance. We've been off for a little while we've kind of been doing some things behind the scene, working with family, getting some other things done, started new careers, new job positions. So we've been a little busy, but we're back and we wanted to pick up right where we left off, guys, with giving you guys some good information for your financial future, some things you can use for your personal future. And one of the things that we wanted to get into today was talking about your comfort zone and how it's crucial to not only your personal life and your financial growth, but also some of the challenges that keep us in the comfort zone. Because there's some misconceptions about what it means to be in the comfort zone. A lot of people say, I'm comfortable, and that can mean that you're in a good place, but it also can mean that you're not growing. So, Rondell, I think you said you talked to me. We were talking earlier, and you were telling me about an article that you read on the psychology of the comfort zone. And I'm going to put
Yes.
up our graphic from our Facebook page just so everybody can follow along with us here.
Yeah. So, as Adrian stated, that we've been taking a couple of weeks, and during those weeks, we've been, researching about what is truly a comfort zone. Um, Individuals can put different definitions on what a comfort zone is, and some people have a personal definition of what it can be. But in some of the research that we have done over the last couple of weeks since we last met, I've I've come across this definition. Now, mind you, this definition may not apply to everyone, but I think is to me is actually accurate when it comes down to discussing the topic comfort zone. The comfort zone is a psychological state in which a person feels at ease because they are not being tested. Inside the comfort zone, people do not typically engage in new experiences or take on any challenges. They only participate in activities they're familiar with, making them feel in control of their environment. And so that was from a website called betterup.com, which is a website that typically give you some tips and tricks or some insights on how to better up or better your life or your life experiences. So again, I think it's probably applicable to what we're going to be discussing today in regards to comfort zone in the subject of your finances. That psychologically we tend to want to stay within that area of your comfort zone. And Adrian is going to display a chart for what we're talking about for context.
Okay, guys, I'm going to put the graphic up on the screen right now so you guys can take a look at what we're talking about. And some of you guys may remember this from before, but this is the graphic that we had up before where we were talking about the comfort zone. And this was the first time I had seen this graphic or seen this depiction of the comfort zone and some of in this total picture. So this is exactly what Rondell was just talking about. So did you want to jump back in there, Rondell, now that we got the graphic up?
Yes. So,
Okay.
so if you're looking at that graphic, and again, everyone, we're just focusing on comfort zone over the next couple of weeks, or even depending on our due diligence and researching some of the other zones, we're going to try to walk this thing out because ultimately we understand that, as the definition has stated, feeling safe and feeling in control of the environment that you're in, not taking any new risks, all of that can play a role in where you're at financially currently, where you're at financially. Now we're not so removed from what's going on in life and society that we don't understand that where you're at financially um, plays a big part in psychologically on how you handle financial decisions that you make within your households or individually. But what we're trying to do is trying to challenge not only you all, but ourselves as well to understanding when we're remaining in this zone too long. There's some drawbacks of remaining in this zone too long. And that's where another quote unquote definition that I read from Walden University is stated that if you stay in your comfort zone too long, it can make you complacent. Now, just think about that for a minute. Complacency. and in the realm of your finances. We're not going to discuss it right now. We'll get into some deeper discussions about complacency and how that relates to your comfort zone as we go along in this video. And you don't perform activities that somewhat scare you. Now, we're not trying to scare you. What we're trying to ultimately do, based upon what I'm reading from Walden University, we want to challenge you to do the things that will remove you or move you, in this case, not remove you, because it's a perpetual cycle. And we'll talk about that as we go through these zones, to challenge you not to miss out of those growth opportunities, which that's the last zone within this chart. So the thing that we want to do is that to make you entirely uncomfortable with the things that should push your boundaries, to make you challenge your current mindset and habits, and especially in the realm of your personal finance, that could involve taking some financial risk. Now, financial risk, we'll discuss that. We're not talking about, you going out there and you putting a massive amount of money into a stock market and not having any plan in order to know what is going to be your gains or your losses and something like that. But financially, what we're talking about financial risk is that you make X, and X is not meeting Y, your Y, and that's whatever your day-to-day operating expenses are, or weekly expenses, or your monthly expenses. Why not take a risk on yourself to do something different, to get in control or be better prepared for those financial responsibilities that you have week in, month in, or year in, throughout. And exploring new investment opportunities when we get to that, because earlier in the videos that you may have been following us for almost 2 years now, that there's exploring new opportunities from an investment standpoint, that once you are able to master and overcome your financial debt that you may have, then you can start looking at those new investment opportunities and making significant changes in your budget and your spending habits. So that's why we want to tackle comfort zone, because I particularly believe it's a psychological or mental challenge or obstacle that you have to be able to overcome and have to be able to manage in order to go through the other zones that you see here. Adrian.
Okay. Yeah. So good, guys. So so another thing that we're going to be doing to it, as far as our new format, is we're going to be shortening our videos and kind of giving you a little bit more information to chew on. And that way we know this is normal for us. Everybody's attention span is not the longest. That's why, they came out with all these new shorter videos on Facebook and, Reels and all these other things. So we're aware of that, and we're going to start making our videos a little bit more comprehensible, where you won't have to spend a lot of time watching it to get to the gist of what we're trying to say. But we're going to break it up into more chewable piece bites, if that makes sense. So like Rondell was saying, the comfort zone. A lot of us get into that comfort zone and we feel comfortable about it. And when we say comfort zone, it just means, like Rondell said before, that we're familiar with the situation around us. We're familiar with being around certain groups of people. We're familiar with our current job because it's familiar. And that prevents us from taking on risks and challenges that we perceive to put us in a state of fear. And when you step outside of your comfort zone, you immediately, if you look at the chart here, you immediately get into, and it's a natural reaction, you get into what's called a fear zone. If you apply for a new job, or you start a new job, or you are looking at your current situation, and you want to change what your current situation is, some of the things that prevent you from doing that and getting yourself to the next level outside of your comfort zone is, one, like it says here, lack of confidence. You're not confident in your abilities. You say, and me and Rondell experienced this greatly in some of our upcoming, transitioning to new positions, new roles, because it's the fear of the unknown. So, but you got to have confidence in yourself. You got to have confidence that, first and foremost, we have God on our side, and God has not given us a spirit of fear. So with that being said, we have to, not rely on our own understanding, but rely on our relationship with God, our Father, and help us get, not only step into the fear zone, but also push through the fear zone and get into some of the other zones that we're going to talk about later in some of these follow-up sessions. So,
Absolutely.
Rondell? Yep.
So I think what we need to start out with as a group, as a body of people who are looking at this from a comfort zone perspective, we need to ask ourselves is that, what is keeping us in this particular zone? You know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where it started out. Are you truly comfortable in the comfort zone? And we will all probably immediately say yes, based upon the definition and what some of the things that we've already stated. But are we truly? And we have to look at that from a holistic aspect. One, financially, I do know that, short story, not going to bore you or 7 years ago, my founder father you with a long story. Most men and women who work a job for a number of years, in this case, I was in the military, you get comfortable of the 1st and the 15th because you know that it's going to come on time, all the time, based upon being in that governmental job. However, as years go on, retirement is going to come or discharge, whichever comes first. And those are decision-based things. And one is not. You meet a certain year requirement, you're going to leave. It's just how it happens in the military. And I was comfortable at one point in time knowing that I was going to get paid the 1st and the 15th. But something was introduced into my comfort zone that made me not feel so safe or in control because it was coming up on me soon, and that was retirement. And I will tell you that a lot of us who are currently in our comfort zone will experience certain things that's going to invade our comfort zone that is going to make us comfortable in our uncomfortableness, if that makes any sense. And the reason why we're comfortable with it is because it's something that keeps reoccurring all the time, and we have made it a norm within our society or in our actual zone or our environment, not knowing that it's really a form of uncomfortableness for us, but we made it comfort because we experience it over and over and over again because we feel that I know what this situation brings. I have normalized it, so therefore I'm not gonna do anything to change it because I've already normalized it mentally. That's why the definition says it's a psychological thing, and therefore I made it a part of my comfort zone, and I feel safe going through the same thing over and over again, whether it be dissatisfaction in your job, not being able to meet all your expenses, overspending oftentimes, and making justifiable reason why those things is happening. You have made that part of your comfort zone, which in all actuality, you should be uncomfortable with those situations that are happening, things that may seem like they're in your control, maybe possibly out of your control, but you have mentally made yourself comfortable with that situation. And therefore you're preventing yourself from moving into the other zones. So the question I will pose to you guys, if you have opportunity as you listen to this video about comfort zone, what are some things that you have made comfortable with yourselves within your zone? Please put it down there in the chat, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Please add that in as a comment within that thread. What are some things that you have introduced in your comfort zone that have made you're really truly uncomfortable with it, but you made it comfortable because you have psychologically made yourself comfortable with those things that you should be actually uncomfortable with? Under the top of the finances, that is, because I was comfortable at one point in time with the 1st and 15th. I was comfortable with the retirement that I was soon to be able to receive from accomplishing 20 plus years in the United States military. It was not until something was introduced into my comfort zone that made it uncomfortable for me in that zone. And that's the thing is, can that retirement actually maintain the expenses that I have made for myself, or we have made for myself, because I am married, we have made for ourselves. And am I comfortable with that? And in actuality, I was trying to, judo mind trick myself or Jedi mind trick myself into being comfortable with the dollar figure that I know I was going to be receiving in. But in actuality, what it did start was a war within myself to the point where it became uncomfortable with that thought, not with where I was currently at. That's why we're talking about it's a psychological thing. It became a challenge mentally with the thought of making X, leaving from Y, and coming into Z, which is society or the public sector, but only being able to make X. Can I deal with the way I was at that particular time, that mindset, going into a new environment? And our environment changes every day from a financial standpoint. You guys have been reading the news. Things are not getting cheaper. Are we truly comfortable with that, or are we living in a comfort zone, being uncomfortable with the changes that are happening around us from a financial standpoint? Adrian?
Yeah. So that's great, Rondell. That's great information. And I think one of the biggest things that kind of keeps us in that comfort zone is confusing um, the comfort zone with contentment. We had talked about that before. A lot of times you'll hear people say, "No, I'm content with where I am," but understanding what those definitions are. So, and we kind of researched this because I had that same. I've even said things before like, I'm content with where I am, right now, and that's because of me confusing contentment with the comfort zone. And so, I just want to give you guys a quick definition of comfort zone and a quick definition of contentment, just so you can get some context on what we're talking about here. So, your comfort zone is that cozy place where you feel safe, unchallenged, and it's where you do things that come naturally and don't involve much risk. So it's just like walking. It's easy for us to walk because that's where we're comfortable. But as soon as we start running, or we start trying to jog or exercise and do things, and the heart rate start getting up, and it takes us out of our comfort. Now your legs start aching and all these things. These are things that kind of push us back into comfort zone to where we go automatically, go back to walking. And then we stay walking because we don't like how uncomfortable it feels to run. You know, even though we know that running is going to, be a benefit to us. Now, let's go to the definition of contentment. Contentment is a state of satisfaction and happiness with your life. It's about finding joy in progress and growth. So, contentment is not just getting into a certain place and you're fine staying there. It's contentment still involves enjoying where you are in your life currently, and knowing that you're growing towards where you want to be at in the future. You understand? So that's what contentment is. Contentment is not that I am happy where I am and I'm just going to stay here. Contentment also has a component to it that you're continuously progressing yourself, you're growing, and you're moving towards your other thing. But like
Makes
we said
sense.
before, guys, we're gonna keep this video short. What we wanted to do was give you guys the foundation for where we're taking this thing next, and we're gonna work very hard to get these videos out. Now that we're doing shorter ones, we're gonna try to get them out a little bit more frequently than what we've had in the past, just because of some of the changes that's been going on off camera, so to speak. Um, it's kind of limiting our time, and I know you guys experience it as well. You got family, you got kids that are getting new activities and these things, so it makes it a little bit more challenging to get these videos out and getting them edited and all that stuff because it's a lot of work. But we're doing this because of our desire. Not that we're getting paid to do this, but we're doing this for our desire to help people change the way that they think about their finances, because this is not taught to us, and we're real passionate about helping people get out of their comfort zone into these past the sphere zone, into the learning zone, and into the growth zone, which these are zones that we're going to talk about in the next couple of episodes that we do. And we're going to really dig into the fear zone and some of the things that are coming up in your situations. I can only speak about my personal situation. Rondell can speak about his. but some of the fear zones, and like Rondell said earlier, one of the fear zones that he had was, getting out of the military and the unknown of what's on the other side of that. Um, the whole purpose of this, guys, is to expand your comfort zone from that smaller circle you see over here to from this zone right here. We want to start expanding you to get into this fear zone, because what lies on the other side of this fear zone is your learning and your growth. And this is, and we want your comfort zone to be this continued cycle where you're in your comfort zone. You, uh, you want to move out of that comfort zone. We want to help you figure out what's hindering you in the fear zone. Whether it be lack of knowledge, we all find excuses, and we always hear what other people have to say, and that keeps us in this fear zone that slams us right back into our comfort zone, and we never get outside of that zone. So, with that being said, Rondell, I'll let you finish it out, and then we'll wrap this video up, and then we're gonna jump into some of the other topics here, guys, and just we just want to give you the foundation today.
Okay. So, guys, again, echoing everything that Adrian said, we want you to take an opportunity to think about what we discussed today, that in regards to that comfort zone, and please share your thoughts, put it in the comments in regards to what you're listening to today, because everybody has different perspectives. I'm not the know-all of what it takes for a comfort zone. However, there's a lot of professional people, even psychologists out there that can describe what comfort zone is, but they cannot necessarily describe what comfort zone is for you. Each one of those things is personally. We ask you to keep it in the context of finances, because that's what we're dealing with here. We're wanting to try to renew your finance so that way you can be able to have the flexibility and leverage yourself in such a way that you don't become become a slave to any masters that are out there at this current time. So take the time, put your thoughts or questions with any of those social media platforms that we're on. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, and let us know your thoughts. And then during these sessions, we will, look at some of the questions or some of the statements that have been made and bring those up during some of these videos.
Yeah, so great. So once again, guys, thank you for giving us your time, your ear. And like I said, we're the only reason that we are doing this is that we want to be a encouragement and a help, and give you a different mindset of looking at the way you manage your finances. If you're here and you're watching this and you enjoy what you're hearing, please like the videos. That helps us out. It shares the video with more people. If you have friends or family, and you want to start your own little group with your close-knit group, because you do need a support system. I didn't go through this journey alone. I went with it. When I talked to Rondell, he was on board, and we went through these journeys together. We bound up until this day, 4 years later, like Rondell said in the previous video, we've never talked about finances. But now we have constant, sessions to where we're bouncing things off of each other. We're talking about different ideas. We are talking about different books that we're sharing with each other, because we are in that learning and growth phase, because we don't know everything, and we don't, because nobody has taught us everything. So we just want you guys to experience and get into a group and surround yourself by people that's challenging you to grow and not stay in your comfort zone. So with that being said, guys, you guys have a great evening, night, morning, whenever you guys get a chance to watch this video, and we will see you in the next video. As always, don't just stay where you are, but look to grow and improve and be better than you were yesterday. All right?
Yeah.
Have a good one, guys.